They bring the laughter, they bring the fun, making sports talk an entertaining run. The NFL to the NBA, they'll have you hooked no matter which game you play. Flurry Sports Podcast, it's a crazy affair. Zach and Jake, they're the dynamic pair. They'll make you laugh until you cry, just like that time GinoBilly killed a bat in the sky.
Wow, what an entrance. What an entrance for episode 2 of season 8, Jake. How'd you like that one?
Best one yet, dude. Best one yet. Because, by the way, we've said it before. That's the best thing we've ever done on the show. The fact that it surprises me every time I hear it.
I know.
Manu GinoBilly killed a bat.
I feel like it's only gotten funnier every time it's been said. And by the way, I've been seeing, maybe it's just the McAfee show, probably just the McAfee show.
Yeah.
But they, every once in a while, will bring up the fact that Brian Kelly killed a kid. It's the funniest thing in sports. It's so funny.
That is true. Maybe that's the thing, is like sports moments that just make you like giddy when they get brought up. Because it's not like, this one is not a buried the lead. Because it's, I say the name, it's the only thing you think of. And listen, folks, I know this is dark, but for some reason, Alex Smith almost losing his fucking life. Like, when I think of that, it's like, he almost lost his leg. How did that happen? That got just so out of control so fast.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, like, we probably should talk about it more. I understand why we don't. I understand why the NFL doesn't.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, well, not really. I was going to say it's the good version of Ryan Shazier, but not really. I don't know.
Well, it's just like, maybe it's okay to laugh at. Maybe it's funnier because he came back. I don't know. But it's just like one of those things that got so bad so fast. But that and the real one that came to mind, and I don't know if this is the same because it's more, for me, because I'm actually a Packer fan, it's more badass, but it is funny. I think of the time that unprovoked Aaron Rodgers just started cussing out a whole stadium of people at the Bears game. That is one of the best. When I think of that moment, I just can't help. I looked it up today. It like came to mind, and I was like, "That's so good." The whole sequence of it, like, is such a perfect sports moment because he scores, they boo, and he immediately goes into not "I own you." That's like what people forget. He starts with "my whole fucking life." That's the first things out of his mouth. It's so good. My whole fucking life. I own you. I still own you. It's so good. So good.
It's true. And I wish I was in the crowd because he ruined someone's day. It's just like, oh no.
It is actually the best sports photo I've ever seen of him silhouetted by a million middle fingers.
Yeah.
Is great because it's just him yelling at a wall of people who, like, by the way, what a one-sided rivalry.
Oh, for sure. It's one of those things, like, is it a rivalry if only one side continues to win? In this case, yeah. It's just so much, it's too much fun. And every single time both sides go into it, like, this is the day. We're going to get them today. And even the Packer fans like us, like, you know what? As long as we go 1-0 against the Bears today, it's going to be a good week. That's all I want to do. I just want to beat the piss out of the Bears. That's it. If we go 2-15 the entire season, please let those 2 wins be against Chicago.
It is actually that dynamic of like, fuck you. I literally didn't say anything. Like, it's like, they were like, we were already winning that game, I think, and we went up again, and he just lit into him, and it's like, what are we doing? What did we do? Yeah, that's good. I like moments like that, so that is true. Yeah, Brian Kelly almost killing a kid, great. I mean, I'm on record of I was seeing ghosts out there. Always,
that was good. Katie Ledecky, I mean, almost Olympic season, Katie Ledecky swimming with chocolate milk on her head. A lot of people weren't aware of that before we talked about it, but I've heard from several people actually. Now every time they see an Olympic commercial or something with her, they tell somebody, like, did you know? This is what's happened with Katie Ledecky in the past.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we should remember her. Not that she's a great, woman athlete representing our country, but no. This chocolate milk. But there's other great women athletes now, Jake. Did you know women's basketball is now a thing? This year, I believe, is the first year of women's basketball, and it's the talk of the town. I mean, 'tis the season, March Madness.
It is
tournament happening.
It is. And I was originally going to start off because I feel like that this season we're falling into a groove. 2 episodes in, we're falling into a groove, which I like, of like, what's our big thing off the top, off the top rope, WWE fans. But
mini season.
That's right. I think it's for sure March Madness. I was going to ask because I for sure think the women's tournament is getting more talked about. I think it's better this year for sure.
Better than the men's or better than in the past? Okay.
Now hear me out, because this is what's going to happen with the men's. If we end up with Purdue, UConn, everyone's going to be like, what a good tournament. And I understand that because we're actually going to get a championship game that's like must watch. Like that championship game is going to probably be the most viewed in 10 years. It'll be it'll probably be the most watched all time now that I do the math, but
just naturally,
naturally. But that's great. This tournament kind of stinky.
It's bad. It's chalky.
It's chalky, and the women's is chalky, but it is, like, to use a WWE reference, it's attitude era chalky. Like I don't want the women's side just to get like, well, the men's is a little more boring, or maybe more predictable is the right word. So I don't know, like the women's is getting more attention. No, it's good, dude. We're going to talk about some of the things. It's good, and everyone's a heel. It's my favorite part. There was one.
It does seem that way.
There was one face. It was that gal from Iowa who dropped 52. No one noticed, but she lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Iowa State, we should say. Not the bad one.
Oh,
not the bad Iowa.
True. Yeah, go Clones. But so otherwise, I mean, everyone's heel. Like South Carolina is definitely the baby face, but people kind of don't pay enough attention to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're also probably the best one. They're so good.
For sure. So they're kind of like UConn in the sense of like chalk good. Meanwhile, on the men's side, everyone's trying to be babyface.
Yeah.
Except Duke.
Other than
they lost.
True. Yeah. Even the ultimate babyface, obviously, in the men's tournament is NC State. It has to be.
Well, but that's the thing is, I don't think they have been teaching us to. I hope now we can finally root against fucking Purdue. Like,
no shit. We need to stop making Zach Edey. I don't. They're not doing anything with Zach Edey. They're just saying, look how big this fucker is. And yeah, I guess, but let's have him trash talk. Well, let's boo him.
You can't make him like the let's root for. He's 7'11". He's got Slurpees. We gotta root against that kid. Yeah, North Carolina State beating Purdue would be awesome. I will say, do I want that to happen only for the sense of I want the championship game to be close? And if it is UConn, North Carolina State,
it seems like it should be a blowout, but I don't know.
I would love it, and I would watch the first 5 minutes. Yeah,
for sure. That Burns kid for NC State though is electric. When he gets taken out of the game for like foul trouble, or not foul trouble, but just so someone will actually play defense on the floor. He's at like the score table flexing, like as the game's going on. He's awesome. He's so good, and I
can't wait for him versus.
He's going to be in the NFL, by the way. Oh, yeah, for sure. The thing is, he shouldn't play. This is my take. No, Burns.
Okay.
He should, because he doesn't play defense. So, like, what's going to happen? He's going to wreck him.
But here's the thing truly with Edey, and I say this without a lick of like basketball experience, just basketball fandom. But I've watched a lot of Purdue games. He is truly the player. They say this all the time, like he's going to get his. He is going to get his. Like it's like trying to limit Edey Like, oh my God, I was losing my mind watching them versus Gonzaga trying to trade twos. It's like, you think he's going to miss a fucking layup? What are you doing? Like, it's like, and I know like the threes weren't falling. I get it. But that is what you have to do. Is like, he either has to be in foul trouble or he can't have the game in his hands. You can't like let him nickel and dime you to death. Like, so, because guess what? He's the worst pick setter I've ever seen in my life, and it couldn't matter less.
You know what they need to do? The men's tournament all week long. Every ESPN show, we need to have Greg Gard on there telling us the secret to beating Zach Edey. I want Greg Gard's face everywhere. We need to remember that the Badgers beat Purdue, not in the Big Ten championship, because that's the narrative. Once again, that keeps getting floated around. Purdue lost in the Big Ten championship. No. Greg Gard cracked the code. It's pretty complex. It's just you got Zach Edey in foul trouble. But hey,
yeah,
let's get him everywhere.
I don't know. I do wish, because honestly, like now that I'm saying it out loud, Purdue should be the baby faces, and maybe it's just us. I don't know, but they can't be, because I understand the narrative is that they shit the bed 2 years in a row and they're really good, and this is their redemption story. So them going all the way and then trying and beating UConn does feel like the story. I was hoping they lost in the first round. That's what I was fucking hoping for.
It's not the story though, Jake. Well, first off, I should say they can't be baby faces when you have a 7'5" guy. That's the thing.
100%.
Like,
Big Show tried a million times.
Correct. The whole story about Purdue, this entire tournament coming in, is like Purdue's going to get beat by a double-digit seed. We know that. But then they won. And we're like, wow, they got past it. They did it. But here comes NC State. No. You know what? If a double-digit seed needs to get there, we'll sacrifice. We'll get there, and we'll beat them in the Final Four. We'll crush their dreams. We'll give them a glimmer of hope. And then we're going to come off the top rope then.
I'm pumped for both of these semifinal games. I'm a little talking. I love watching Alabama play.
They're good. I love Oates. I love their coach.
Yep, I love their coach. I love that I hope they turn off what they've been turning on this whole tournament. This whole tournament, they've been learning how to play defense. I hope that goes away. I hope they have one game of just one of us is going to bleed to death. I just hope they have one game of let's see how fast we can run. I say that. What makes me a little bummed is if we get 2 upsets, I'm not watching the championship game. I just want like Alabama, NC State. No way. I would watch Alabama, Purdue, and I would watch any of the other 3 outcomes. But that's the bummers. I'm rooting for 2 upsets, and I actually don't want to watch that game.
That's true.
But that said, 2 upsets are very unlikely. So I think we're tricking ourselves into like, I think people are like, well, the championship game would be so good if it's UConn Purdue. Don't fall for it. Root for Burns, root for NC State, root for Bama, who like we can now root for because they don't have a murderer on their team, allegedly.
True.
You know, so
maybe they do. We don't know.
That's true. That was the allegedly. Maybe they do. But all that said, this tournament is like wound up in this spot. But like, oh my God, North Carolina, Houston, nobody cared about. No one really knew enough about Illinois, and they didn't like play enough in the big moments.
Well, also Shannon like raped a person.
100%.
Allegedly. Not really.
But like a lot of the big coaching names were missing. And then, Zach, what we really want to talk about. You have all of that on the women's side, dude. We've been getting banger after banger. There's also been so much to talk about, which is what I want to talk about, because I think we've all soaked it in, but we need to go through the rungs of what has happened here.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening.
Starting with the most recent.
Yeah, introduce it to the people. For those who didn't hear about this huge scandal.
I can't even say it with it. They painted the 3-point line wrong in the Portland Regional of the Women's National Championship Tournament. in the crown jewel of women's sports, by the way. No one loves women's sports like the NCAA does.
Yeah.
9 inches. 9 inches off.
It was very short. Like, just watching it on TV, you could see it. It's by the eye test. You could very much see it wasn't close.
There is no better film than them coming out and remeasuring it.
That's what I'm upset about. Because there was a variety of methods of measurement happening.
Oh, they were all good though.
Of course, someone had a tape measure. That makes sense. There was some doofus going foot to foot, like walking a tightrope trying to measure if it's the same in his feet. But this is the part that actually gets me angry. As the story was developing, told one of the ESPN people, they're like, it sounds like there's actually like a discrepancy in the 3-point lines. Something's happening. It's weird. But here's the kicker. They didn't know which one was correct. How do we not know that? I look at the rule book. We care so little about women's basketball. We're like, okay, yes, they're definitely different, but I don't know which one we need to change it to.
And here's the thing. It is hard to watch this tournament without the vibe of we're all suddenly caring about something. Right? And so it's like we look into it further. I think of, and this is a wild metaphor, but follow along for me. During COVID, this is really going to hit home for some folks. During COVID, we all started watching that Bon Appetit YouTube channel with all the cooking people all at once. None of us had ever thought about watching that before, and we all tuned in. About 6 months later, that shit fell apart because people looked into it, and one of the guys was racist, and a lot of people quit. And it's all of a sudden, we all cared. We all cared, and we were like, hey, I suddenly am going to care about and root for women's sports. Doesn't that 3-point line look a little small? Doesn't?
Yeah. I don't want to be the one to say it. Like, I'm not judging women. Your sport's great too. Your sport's awesome. However, I think the 3-point lines are different, but if that's your rule, that's cool. I support you in that rule.
And for those not, because Zach and I the one time I feel like we got a lot of traction on our, like we had a WNBA talk one year. Like we're clear, like, we want this sport to succeed. I just think we're calling out the hypocrisy. Like, this is wild. You want to know how we can tell that we're just starting to pay attention to this? Scandal number 2. Okay. By the way, only scandals of neglect here, which is awesome. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Scandal number 2. Ref. Was it the same regional? Now that I say it out loud.
I think it was the one before, or not the same play. I think it was a different weekend.
Different weekend for sure, but I'm wondering if it was the same because it was in Portland Regional. But refs showed up to the game. Suddenly they changed refs. What's going on? I don't know. Maybe it's because she went to fucking school at she went to grad school at USC, I believe. So she was a grad student. Didn't disclose that. Whoop-de-doo. But don't worry, everyone. We checked right before the game started. I like to think someone saw her on TV and she said she went there.
Yeah, they're like, wait, why aren't you going out to ref? She's like, I'm painting my nails, my school colors out there. They're like, no, wait a minute. No, you can't do that. And that's why she didn't play.
And like, listen, you made a great point. Zach and I have both referenced felonies on the men's side of things that we're worried about. So by no means are we calling out the corruption of the women's side, but it is like suddenly we're aware that's happening. And my favorite takeaway from this whole tournament, what I really want to talk to you about, because it is the best part of the tournament. Mm-hmm. Everyone's a heel. Everyone shit talks. It's so good. My favorite person, everyone hated. Not me. That girl from Stanford can ball. The blonde chick, she looked like she was from Mean Girls. She told the ref to go fuck herself on the way out. He called her a disgrace. We have girls walking ref to ref, calling them out. This is awesome. That girl from Stanford, by the way, after the game cleared up that she had no beef with the opposing team, which I loved.
Of course, yeah. It wasn't them.
And guess what she did next game, Zach? You'll never believe it.
What's that?
Fouled out. Got her.
She's the goon. What do you want her to do? Like, she's out there to cause a ruckus. But it's this. in the best way possible. This tournament is a beautiful clusterfuck because of what happened last year. Because the only thing we know, the only reason why we care about college basketball, women's college basketball now, it's like, oh, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, who are playing as we record this right now. Tie game, halftime, crazy. They got into it. So the only reason why there's money for women's sports now is because they were shit talking each other. So now you got every girl who thinks she can shit talk trying to do the exact same thing on the biggest stage, which leads to everybody shit talking and everybody tried to cut a heel promo like The Rock. It's incredible.
And by the way, it's working. And today, Claire and I were talking, I'm like, who are we rooting for? And then it occurred to me, it's definitely LSU. The only one who's ever, it's Angel Reese for sure. Angel Reese, who just keeps telling people to keep their mouth shut, which I love. That's like, just like, why are you talking to me?
Laje's electric. She's my favorite.
Oh, they're so good. There's only one person on the LSU team that I don't like, which leads us to scandal number 3, Zach.
Okay.
Dressed like fucking Paula Abdul. We got Coach Kim Moke out there. This is awesome. This whole thing, and I don't know if enough people have closed the book on this, so for folks following along or not, let me catch you up to speed. Listen, Coach Moke's got a long history of stuff, which you can find out if you read a certain article, but she comes out unprovoked. That's my favorite part about this. She announces to the world, hey, everyone, there's an article coming out about me, but don't worry about reading it because it's a hit piece. They're out to get me. This media. Why can't they trust anybody? Because they're writing articles about good-hearted Southern gals like me. Why they out to get old Coach M? I haven't done anything wrong to any straight players I've ever coached. So she's, I'm taking her out of context a little bit. But, she basically tells us, hey, everyone, there's this article coming out. Don't read it. So suddenly this article becomes must read. Of course. Yeah. No one's gonna read this fucking article. She cites in there, and this is why it's especially to our listeners, juicy, because overlooked, she goes, and this person attacked a fellow coach who did nothing wrong. That coach, Brian Kelly.
Mr. Kelly.
Oh, Mr. Kelly. That's the other hippies article he did on the $100 million man in Louisiana, and it was on Brian Kelly, who, by the way, killed a kid. Due to unsafe conditions.
Not alleged.
A kid died. His contributions to it remain, up for debate if you don't want to look at the facts. But,
I think he put an extra stripe on his coaching jacket afterwards. I don't know.
Yeah, every time he gets a kill, Tiger gets his stripes. But so that happened, and I was like, defending Brian Kelly, bad start. My favorite part about it all was that the author resent out the Brian Kelly article and was like, if you want to know what kind of hippies I'm going to write, here's one right here. And the article drops, and suddenly no one's talked about it. And two things. She was like, they only gave me 2 days notice. We've now know that they were asking her team about it for 2 years.
Who checks her emails?
Who checks her emails? She was also like, are you surprised by the timing of it? They dropped it, during this game. They told her 2 weeks ago when it was going to drop, when they did not know whether they would advance or not. Calculated. So it drops. It's a pedestrian article. It's fine. It's whatever. Guess what it says? Not the nicest. Yeah. That was my favorite part, was basically the point. If she hadn't said anything, the article really would have been bland, because the article was like, people don't really like her. Depending on, she's very controversial. Some players defend her to the death. Some players do not. A lot of those players who don't like her may have sexual orientation in common. You can read the article. She said something especially mean-spirited about Brittany Griner when she was a prisoner of war.
Who did it though?
Who did? That's a little sad. That's true. Late night host, I'm looking at you. But there's a lot of jokes made. So all that in there. But it's basically this article saying she doesn't play well with others and her temper gets the best of her. Highlighted by her threatening a newspaper for that. So
it's so funny.
It's so funny, and it was the moment where I was like, welcome to the big leagues, women's basketball. Like, You know,
Yeah.
how are you going to keep up with the Boeheims and the Coach K's of the world?
Yeah.
Let's bring it. We can play ball. Little scummy action.
So stupid. I will say you're completely correct where it's like no one would have read that article, and it's a nothing article. The issues, she also said, by the way, no comment on the article. My lawyers are looking through it right now, and if there's any stories that are false, we're suing. Doesn't sound like she's suing. So take that as a
read
fact.
into that what you will. Yeah.
But they interviewed her family, who she has not had contact with in forever, which is scummy to do, I think. And then they interviewed players who were cut or like didn't make the team. So
Correct.
obviously they're going to be disgruntled. So it kind of is a hit piece, but it's a bad hit piece. So who cares?
Correct. My only thing on it is like, it's certainly critical of her. Does that make it a hit piece? I think the piece to me that stops it from being a hit piece is this. as I am with you on like, it's a bad sign when all of the, people who come out against someone in an article have a reason to be disgruntled. And that seems to be, they're all former players with issues, some of whom have been cut, or folks like Griner who have been public in their dislike for years and years and years. One of the people who did not comment, of course, famous Angel Reese, which was the inspiration of the article allegedly, was Angel Reese was suspended 4 games this year and no reason was given. There are sources in the article who claim that the reason was Reese's popularity, and have quotes from Coach Monkey saying, well, her problem is she's on that damn Instagram machine, which, maybe that is the problem. So my only thing is, yes, there are no current players, or voices that seem to be current, like assuaging anything or outright, negative. Could they be negative and remain on the team or remain influential? That I think is the point of the articles. That'd be normally I would dismiss this out of hand. That is kind of the thing, is like, you don't hear a lot of Tom Izzo's guys calling him out, and it's there might be a reason for that. So I think some of that is there. I also think, listen, every fucking college coach has this article written about them.
Oh yeah.
So that's the piece where it's like, it's a nothing burger, but I almost put more stake on it because she was like, I can't believe you would believe this. I'm like, well, now I do.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because
you can't announce I am suing them if there are any lies, and then come to your next press conference and essentially say, I am not suing them. Proceed.
I'm pretty pissed about the timing, though. So, but listen, this tournament's got it all. The games have been sneaky good. We record this. We probably should start with this. We're recording this during the LSU Iowa game, so hopefully that gets some clicks on this. So that game, I think, will be one of the most watched of either tournament.
It'll be the most watched women's basketball game of all time to this point. And it'll rank highly compared to the men's tournament. It's a tie game at halftime, is what it is. I will say the biggest like vocal piece on women's college basketball prior to the tournament announced like, hey, if you are now just wondering about women's college basketball and want to know how to bet on this, if you want to know how to pick your bracket, it's going to be extremely chalky. There's only a few good teams. And then it plays out exactly like that. Bad for the sport. So we also need to learn how to talk about women's college basketball. Amp it up. Be like, hey, this team could get upset. There could be a Purdue. You can't just be like, hey, there's 4 good college basketball players on the planet. You guys know their names. You don't know any of their teammates. Just pick them to get there.
I hope they prove me wrong. My worry is they've done what they did not do before, because people will. This is what actually does make me mad. Perhaps the best basketball game I've ever watched start to finish was UConn versus Notre Dame in the women's tournament. And I'm going to take a shot at Agun. Nope, I won't. Notre Dame's player hit the buzzer beater.
Agun Bawale.
Thank you, Agun Wabale. Was what I was going for. So not correct. But over the mighty UConn. That's one of the best basketball games I've ever seen. And I feel like off of like Brianna Stewart, Maya Moore, like all of these heavy hitters from UConn, and then that run by Notre Dame, I was like, this is it. And they didn't build up any other fucking people. And they're at least trying that here. I think Flo J is a great start. Britt from Stanford, who I talked about, but a lot of the folks are highlighting our seniors. It just makes me a little nervous. So that is what I want to see after this is right now, everyone can name a few of them. But what happens when Caitlin leaves? So that is because right now they're talking about people in case they play Caitlin.
Right. Yeah. That's essentially it. I assume we're just not going to care about women's college basketball in 2 years. And I want everyone to know Flurry Sports Podcast will be right here. We'll continue talking about what needs to be talked about. If there's going to be a loop-de-loop at a 3-point line over there in Portland in a couple years, we'll point it out. What are they doing? We'll be here to at least make fun of it.
Yeah, we're all over it. I can't wait. And with that said, I did the last thing, of course, from this tournament, because everyone can't stop talking about. By the way, trash talk, always good. Only thing better than that, parents telling their kids to shut up.
So good.
That's the only, because listen, you at home, yes, you at home telling Caitlin Clark to shut up, go fuck yourself. Who cares? Who truly cares? Let her talk. She is the reason you're watching the basketball game. So
for sure, let
her talk. It is hilarious that her dad told her to shut up. And because Claire, my loving partner, pointed this out. If that's been happening her whole life, even funnier. Because it's like she just keeps getting told to shut up. She just keeps not shutting up. And she's awesome. She's so good. So it's been must watch. March Madness has been fun in total, but I can't wait to see if we're still talking about the same way. I have a feeling it's good we're talking about it now, because if we do get UConn, Purdue on the men's side, I think that will overshadow everything else, which I would say, is pretty good, except I still can't get anyone to name one fucking UConn player for me. But, we're working on it. Best team in the country, not one. Not one guy. The main dude looks like every Russian henchman from a James Bond movie ever, but it's crazy.
But their head coach, Dan Hurley's quirky.
Yeah, he's got a kid. That's what I know. He's got a kid on the team.
He picks out the colored M&Ms of his opponents because he can't eat them before the game. And he eats exactly 17 or something. He's a weirdo. He's not quirky. He's fucking weird, but whatever. That's fine.
He is a weirdo. Listen, this is a sport. This is a sport where fucking Coach Huggy Huggins tried to.
What are we doing? Get Bob Huggins on everything. He should be coaching next year, by the way. Oh, what happened to West Virginia this year? A perennial tournament team, dead last in the Big 12. And you know why? Because they had 2 head coaches. And when you have 2 head coaches, you have no head coach. Bob Huggins was still technically head coach.
Whose fault is
outside the papers?
Coach Huggins' wife.
Yep. And that his former lawyer.
It's so unbelievable. I know it's been a wild tournament, but Zach, speaking of wild times, I mean,
you know what, Jake? I know what you're queuing up to, and I'm looking at the time right now. This is what we're gonna do, everybody. Next, we're gonna tease a segment for next week.
Yes.
Next week, we have the long-awaited first appearance on the Flurry Sports Podcast by Bloody Dan, I think. Is this the first time he's been on mic for us?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to tease it for next week because we're going to be talking about something far in the past, but something that was very notable. If everyone takes a trip back on memory lane to the Waste Management Open this past year, Phoenix Open Waste Management, it was a shit show. On the in the best way possible. Golfers don't want to go back. There were people kicked out. There was fights everywhere. There were rain delays. Everything that could go wrong did. But we had feet on the ground. We had Dan
boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground, sifted through the bullshit, sifted through the mud sliding down mud hills. We had Dan there, sober, stone cold sober, and stone cold sober on our podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, he witnessed everything that happened. So we sat down with him for about 20 minutes, telling us everything that happened at the Waste Management Open, including one of his buddies sliding down a muddy hill with 2 beers and then getting interviewed by Barstool. So you may have seen that viral video from the Waste Management. Just know that was his bachelor party. He was in that group, and we got all the stories from that. That'll be next week. But since I want to keep these shows nice and concise,
yes,
we'll skip it for this week because we have a game. And this is what people want to see. They're tuning in because how will Jake earn his way back? He's down $20. People say I rigged it. People say I don't deserve that money. And this is me saying what the bet should have been. I would get 10, but you would get 20. But I said 20 and 20. And what are we going to do? We had a verbal handshake. I'm up $20 after the first week. We got another game that you are competing for $10 this week, though, Jake. So are you in the right mindset to fight your way back, I should say?
I am in the right mindset. I'm not going to lie. You rope and dope me a little last week. I was desperate for stakes. So I kept dangling the rope out. And I should have known you. Like, if there's any one person on the planet who knew a fake Paralympic team, it's you, man. So should have known. You don't challenge a shark to a race unless you're Michael Phelps. You remember when he did that shit? Anyway, I'm ready to go.
Okay, so the game this week. Are you familiar with the movie game?
No.
Okay. So what this is, it was a game created that you can buy. It's like a board game, card-based board game created by the Valley Folk, which is a internet comedy group that no longer exists. They broke up like after they sold this game, but they combined 2 movies and they read like a combined synopsis, and then you have to combine the movies together. And I'm going to give you an example. I'm looking through a bunch of movie ones just so you kind of get it. So let's say, which one would you know? Let's do this one. So the synopsis for these combined movies is a murderous machete-wielding killer terrorizes promiscuous camp counselors before magically turning into an adult woman who swiftly finds that being grown up isn't as easy as it seems. Okay.
And then I have to give you the answer with the titles combined.
Yes. So for that one, do you know what that would be?
Correct. Friday the 13th going on 30.
Bingo. But for the Flurry Sports podcast, we got an athlete and a movie. So you're going to be combining the athlete's name with the title of the movie.
I can't wait. Yeah. What do I got to get to win? And what's on the line?
I have 6. And I will say, I do think you're going to crush it. So,
well, I
think you got to get 5 points. I really do.
Okay. 5 points for 10. If I get all 6, how about this?
Jake.
Okay. 5 points for 5 points for 10.
Okay.
6 for 20.
I will say the final one, there's an opportunity to get multiple points.
Okay. Let me pitch you my idea and you see if there's a way to work it in, or I'll just take it as you got it.
Okay.
Because I'm willing to risk something otherwise.
I love to hear that. Okay.
If I get, should I risk it? What am I doing? Okay, here we are. If I get 5 right, that's kind of steep. So if I get 4 right, I don't get anything. That's how we've got it set up.
I just think.
You think I'm going to crush it? Well, let's start with that. Here was going to be my pitch. I get 5 right, I get 10 points. I get 6 right, I get 20 plus whatever bonuses there are. So I have a chance to pass you. And if I get 3 or less, I get nothing. No, I go in the hole.
Well, okay. I mean, if you don't get 5, I get the $10.
One of us gets $10 every week. Wow, this is really wow.
Yeah. Last week, remember, if I didn't get it, you would have got $20. So if you don't get 5, I get $10. And I'm going to say 5 points.
One of us gambles, and one of us thought gambling was legal in the state of Wisconsin.
One of us gambles and one of us loses, Jake. That's what we're doing today.
You and Shohei Ohtani. Okay, I'm ready. Let's just play it as is. Talk myself
I think
out
you got to get 5 or more points. The last question's worth 2. Okay?
Okay. We'll revisit after a couple. Here we go.
Okay. This first one's a layup. You're going to get it. I'm introducing you to the game with this first one, okay?
Love it.
Do you want me to tell you, because half of them are athlete first, half of them are movie first? Do you want me to do that for you? I'll do that for you.
Oh,
I think it'll be pretty obvious, but I can.
Why don't you play it as it lies? I don't think you got to word it around for me, and we'll be okay.
Okay, here we go. People, play at home. Let me know what scores you get. This first one, the American dream comes in different forms. For this athlete, it's playing third fiddle, faking injuries, and killing a bat. But at least he didn't have to go back to school and piss himself in order to seduce a hot teacher.
It's okay. Hear me out.
Okay.
So it's Manu Ginobili.
Bingo. Okay.
Bingo. And then you like Adam Sandler movies a lot more than I do.
You got this. Come on.
Oh my God. Adam
the people are screaming at home.
Drew Barrymore. No, that's a different one.
Think about the end of Manu Ginobili's name. Because it has to start the movie title.
Ginobili. Not 50 First Dates. Not Wedding Singer. Manu Ginobili. Oh, Billy Madison. Manu Ginobili Madison.
Get it clean. Say it one time here.
Manu Ginobili Madison.
Yes, very good. Very good. It's fun to say when you get it together. It's very good. Okay, 1 point. Easy as that.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, folks at home, if this turns into me just remembering the names of things I know. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, this one. A nuisance to everyone, often including his own team. This player once feuded with a current teammate about a broken watch and a Cancun on 3 cheer from the huddle. He desperately inserts himself with superstars around the league in the same way a chubby white boy tried to insert himself into a samurai clan only to be rejected.
So this is fun because one gives me the other. That one I was trying to narrow down because I was like, could be Reggie Jackson, but it is not. It's Patrick Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yes, Patrick Beverly Hills Ninja. Watch Beverly Hills Ninja for people at home. Great Chris Farley movie.
It is actually, it's underrated for as much as if you like his other movies. I don't know how you haven't watched that.
For sure. For sure. A lot of people don't know it though. But yes, 2. You got Manu Ginobili Madison and Patrick Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yeah.
The other fun game I'm currently mentally playing is which one of these is going to be the title of the podcast. It's going to be one.
That's good. Okay.
Okay. Number 3. You got to remember I'm doing the movie synopsis, right? So that's that's something to keep in mind for later on too.
Okay. I'm with you.
Okay. There's a lot of things happening, but none more iconic than Carl trying to catch an asshole dancing rodent. And much like how sports in this sports movie may play second fiddle, this second fiddle athlete is now becoming more known for his commercials and arguing with a man who roasts women in Texas than possibly his actual sports career.
Okay. So that's pretty good. Okay. I
can repeat anything if you need me to.
Okay, repeat the movie part again.
Okay. There are a lot of things happening, but none more iconic than Carl trying to catch an asshole dancing rodent. And I also called it a sports movie. Technically.
Yes. Oh my God. This whole time I was like, what goes with Kenny the Jet? You are an asshole. Because here's why you're an asshole. Read out the description of the athlete to the people.
Okay, a second fiddle athlete.
Fuck you. It's Caddyshack. It's Caddyshack. Or do you want Caddyshack Shaquille O'Neal?
Caddyshack Shaquille O'Neal, yes. What
second fiddle athlete?
Yeah. Kobe and Shaq, Dwayne Wade and Shaq.
I literally couldn't get it because I was like, Kenny the Jet. I was like, what is Kenny's last name? And then I was like, oh my God, he's going for Shaq.
Yeah. Shaq was never the star of his team. Sorry about it. Not when he was on a good team.
That's wild. That's a wild. How dare you talk about the big cactus that way?
What's he more famous for, Jake? What's Shaq more famous for? Putting Icy Hot on, or talking to a animated army lieutenant, or lifting Kobe Bryant up after Kobe did something good? Which one?
He's so good. All right, bring it. Bring it. Now, this one's for you, Shaq. I'm winning this whole damn thing for you.
Okay, Jake's 3-0. He's up 3. He plays dead to celebrate, then knocks you out in the elevator after. He hit her so hard that she traveled back in time with a lisping weirdo and a big guy that sounds like he hates his family. This is a tough one.
Big guy who hates his family. So
sounds like it.
Oh, okay. Went back in time. Ray Rice.
Mm-hmm. That's the easy part for sure.
Famously, yeah, 100%. Well, I gotta take him as they come. It's so hard. So in the movie, can I ask this? You said she goes back in time. Is it a woman who goes?
Ignore the part about going back in time. Maybe it just took place a while ago.
Oh my God, that changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
A lisping weirdo.
Yep.
I think that's the part that like you're trying to give to me, which is the hard part because I'm trying to figure out how it's Ray Rice Princess Bride.
I've never seen Princess Bride, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Andre the Giant's in it, so there's a big guy.
Does Andre the Giant have a lisp, or does he just have a speech impediment?
Well, he has neither. He's just French speaking English, I think. Okay,
yeah, not that. I'll really help you out. It's an animated movie.
That's helpful because Ray Rice Before Time, Ray Rice Land Before Time. There's a lot of movies where people have speech impediments.
That's true.
A big weird Mulan. Why is this the description of so many movies? Just a time traveling movie with one person with a speech impediment and one big dude. What did you say about the big dude? Doesn't like their family?
He sounds like he is someone who hates his family.
What does that mean? Is that like a description from the movie, or you think I don't want you to give it away, but I don't think you're helping me there.
I don't know. I made the movie thing, Jake. You got to get into the mind of the author here.
Yeah, I know, but you're telling me after you're doing inside jokes that I'm not on the inside.
It's funny.
Ray Rice Age.
Boo, Ray Rice Age. Yes, Ice Age.
Oh my God, I just unlocked this game. People at home are screaming at me. Finally, I went, what does Ray Rice go into?
True. Also, have you unlocked the second part of that?
Sounds like he hates his family. His family's dead.
No, okay, no. Who plays the elephant?
Ray Romano?
Ray Romano hates his family and everybody loves Raymond, Jake. Catch up. Figure it out here. Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't make a Dennis O'Leary reference in there.
Hey. If people like this game, let us know because there's a lot of things we can do this for, by the way.
That is telling me they're people was killer. Animated help, but I'm still thinking people. Okay. Yeah. I'm 4 in, so this next one I get a win.
Yep. And you got this. This is a layup, okay?
Nice.
You basically won money already. How's it feel?
You're teeing me up with something. Here's the thing I'm nervous about is we're related. You know movies that I haven't seen, and I'm afraid you're going to hit me with like a.
Jay, I'm confident you have seen 99% of the movies I've seen, and I've seen like 3% of the movies you've seen.
I know, but I'm trying to think that would help me out. I'm trying to think if there's any famous movies you keep trying to get me to watch. I don't think so. Claire right now is trying to get me to watch Selena, but I know how that ends, so I don't really want to.
Gomez?
No, about the Selena, the singer from the 2000s. All right, well, whatever. We're moving.
That's Selena Gomez.
I'm gonna watch it. Nope, different. No. Okay, we're on. I'm on. I'm ready.
Okay, no more hints. I can't help you
no,
out.
I know you can't give me any hints. I will say I was helpful to you last week, so I don't feel too bad. This is.
I don't think so. I think I bootstrapped. Self-made $20.
I told you the gymnast was from Ireland and that fucking Argentina was playing Bulgaria.
I know. Lindsay watched it back and did say that I just grilled you with questions, which is true. What do you do?
You did. It is
for the people
enough.
listening, I hope.
So here we go. I finally did that in that last one. Okay, ready.
Right. Okay, here we go. Good afternoon, good evening, and good movie about a fake life. Much like how this new 1%er lies about his life and being a terrible gambler while tanking another team he's on.
Truman Shohei Ohtani.
See? Layup. I wasn't lying.
No, not a layup. That might be the name of the show.
Yeah, pretty good. Truman Show. Banger of a movie.
So good. Can't watch that when you're too sad. It's a little existential.
Can't watch it too late at night. Can't watch it if you're drunk or high. You gotta be in the right mindset.
My God, I've never thought about that. Watching that movie high, he walks into the sky.
He does do that. Spoiler. Yes. Okay.
Oh my God. If you haven't watched the Truman Show, that does not give you a lot about the plot. Buckle up.
No. Quite an out of context part.
Better Jim Carrey movie, Truman Show or Bruce Almighty?
Ooh. I think I'd go Truman Show. That's one of my favorite movies.
Bruce Almighty is one of my favorite funny movies of all time.
It's good.
Morgan Freeman is underrated hilarious in that movie. Smite me, almighty smiter.
Very good movie. Last one here, Jake. It's a 3-parter.
Okay.
We got two movies and we got an athlete.
Okay. So I currently have made $10.
That's true. If you get this right fully, which I do think you will do. I wrote these so you could get them. I needed them to make sense. You'll earn your way back. We'll be even 2020.
Okay. What a year. Sounds good.
Or should we go?
I think 15. I think 15.
I was going to say, should we both accumulate money or should we bring it back, like the balance down? Like, do we both have 20 or do we both have 0?
No, we both go to 0.
Okay.
Cornhole rules.
Okay. So because you were so generous with giving me the opportunity to just crush it last week, just absolutely smoke it. It was incredible. It was such a good display of intelligence by me that we'll go back down to 0 if you get this fully correct, which you will do. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. Just reading it a little bit. I wrote this. Okay. GSP nearly pins a supposed superhero in a movie that nothing else really happens. That's the synopsis of that movie, by the way.
Okay.
But if GSP tries to pin this athlete, he would give him the worst injury of all, a concussion. Oh, wait, no, that's just a spine injury. No biggie. Send him to the hospital to share a room with a former gang member who likes to talk about the old In, Out, and a bunch of movies he was forced to watch.
Okay, so I'm not going to lie. The third one has threw me a little bit for a little bit. It's throwing me. And the first one, I honestly don't know if you have chosen part of the title or the full title, because the first movie,
part of the title. Don't say like the part after the
Captain America, Winter Soldier, Tua Tagovailoa. So
it's 2, not Winter Soldier. It's a second.
Captain America, Tua Tagovailoa, and then The last one I might need you to repeat again for me. In and Out. Yeah, I thought for sure it was gonna be Hernandez, but I don't think it is. So okay, go ahead and read that third one for me.
I will say the last part is a movie.
Oh, 2 movies and an athlete. Okay. I was like,
want me to repeat?
Yeah, Tagovailoa and Hernandez.
Okay, so send him to the hospital to share a room with a former gang member who likes to talk about the old in, out, in a bunch of movies he was forced to watch.
Tagovailoa.
I'm cultured, people. For people surprised I chose this movie. I'm a cultured guy.
I'm surprised you chose this movie because it's throwing me a little bit. Did you use Tua's full name? Is that a legal question I can ask? All right.
Well, full English name. The one that we, I didn't use this Hawaiian bullshit fake name.
That's rude. That's whatever. Tua Tagovailoa. That was a little too targeted at the Hawaiian people who did not deserve it.
I don't think he's a real Hawaiian. I think
that's
he's fake.
Fine. Attack him. Yeah, he might be Monte Teo's girlfriend. I just don't know if you need to attack Hawaiian.
He just got $60 million a year. I can fucking attack him. Overpaid.
We are agreeing, but they make delicious coffee and wonderful buns.
Love the rock. Are you a Cody crybaby? What are we doing here? Okay.
He's not from anyway. Okay, Tua Tagovailoa. Loa gang member. The in and out is throwing me. Watching movies.
This might be the best actual movie hint I've given in this entire thing, to be honest.
I think so. I'm curious if I've seen this movie.
I'm not sure if I've ever talked to you about it. I feel like you have.
So I'm going to read your synopsis back to you, and you're going to tell me if I'm missing something, okay? Gang member is reminiscing on it and about the old days. Okay. And the old in and out. And what's the last part?
Forced to watch a bunch of movies.
That is like Clockwork Orange is like what I'm Tua Tagovailoa work orange. Doesn't work. I feel like I should get it from
what's the title of that movie?
What movie?
The one you just said.
Clockwork Orange.
There's a 1-letter word before clockwork.
Is there? Is it the?
No. 1 letter.
Oh, is the title? No way. The title. So I got the movie right. It's Captain America.
Put it all together for the people at home. Here we go.
Jesus. It's
a mouthful.
That's how you would describe a Clockwork Orange?
Yeah. For this hint, yes.
That's crazy. Not a mention of milk. Support your local dairy farmer. It is Captain America Tua. I won't say it. No. Here we go. Captain America Tua Tagovailoa Clockwork Orange.
Bingo. Captain America Tua Tagovailoa Clockwork Orange. Easy. Easy to say.
Wow. That's pretty brutal.
That doesn't what?
It doesn't roll off the tongue, dude.
Because Tua's in there. Like, he ruins everything he's a part of.
Loa, I feel like there was an opportunity there, but I don't, I didn't have time to prep. But I appreciate the chance to wipe the board clean.
Yeah. That's enough lip out of you. We're even now. Okay?
You would like a Clockwork Orange.
I mean, if there's any weirdo out there who's like, that's my favorite movie, I'm not one of those people.
That's true. That's a fun thing. What's like a movie where it's like, that's my favorite movie, Red Flag? That might be number 1.
Yeah. That would be a weird one.
That and Benchwarmers.
I mean,
if you tell me Benchwarmers is your favorite movie, I'm not gonna find you very funny.
If you're like I like that movie. If you're naming like, did you know on the set of Benchwarmers they did, or even like, did you know on the set of Grown Ups? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Grown Ups 3. Shaq said this or whatever. Like that would.
Do you know he wasn't actually afraid of the sun?
Yeah. That would be weird. I feel like Silence of the Lambs is weird, but maybe there's people who.
Oh, but it's like a suspense. It'd be weird if it was like your favorite movie though. I guess like you really liked scary movies and like it's your favorite one. I think we picked some good ones. The only other one, this is for a very different reason. Like I like people, it's like my favorite movie is like this overwhelmingly sad movie. Like I knew a guy in college whose favorite movie was $1 Million Baby, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I think I got one. Have you seen the movie Simon Birch?
No, I haven't.
Oh, very sad movie. If that's your favorite movie, man, you're just a bummer to be around, I think.
That's how I feel. Yeah, 100%. If you were like, man, I love Old Yellow.
Schindler's List, banger. You know?
So Schindler's List is like, it is one of, I always say it's like one of the best movies everyone should watch. You can't watch that shit twice.
Oh, yeah. I want to know someone who's watched it 5 times.
Yeah.
How did it change you?
That's so true. Hold Grand Budapest Hotel. The color purple's on. I got to rewatch Roots. It's true. I think we've stumbled onto something there. I think that's very fair. But Zach, we are tied. Horse apiece for the folks at home. 0. Speaking of teases, next week you're getting a little golf action with Dan, so tune in for that. You are also getting the returning Bury the Lead is coming back for Zach's chance to win some points. So college basketball related, burying the lead. So that will be the game next week, Zach. So get ready for that. I
will dust off an old Bury the Lead theme song that I already have created.
Oh, there you go. It'll be a little different because obviously I'm turning into a scoring mechanism, but it'll be good.
Can't wait. Episode 3. That's a little teaser for you at home. Next week may be the best episode we ever do, or not. So it's going to be great.
You decide.
Yeah, or not. But yeah, we will be back next week. Good luck to Caitlin Clark. I hope she's doing well. And I hope her dad scolds her too. Just shut up. Shut up, Caitlin. Shut the fuck up.
Wait, are you supporting her?
I don't know. I don't like Caitlin Clark.
Let's measure the 3-point line.